This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, guys, we'll start with recursion, non-recursive method. We'll take a scenario and we'll work first with non-recursive method. Then we can go ahead with the recursive method. First, let's start with the basic program which we know, that is nothing but factorial. Will you people write factorial program in a non-recursive method? That is nothing but general method. Just you can code it and you can put in my chat box. Guys, a very simple program. We are going to write a factorial program based on non-recursive method. Just try it out, hardly 4 lines, I guess. By using iterator, try to do this one, not by using recursion method, guys. Factorial of a given number in a non-recursive way. Guys, you can start typing. I've given just a basic question here. I guess everyone knows about factorial, right? Start doing. Write the logic of it. Come on soon. Okay, good. Good. Good, good, good. Okay. Good, good. So a very simple way, what you'll do? Okay. You're going to accept the input and you're going to make use of. Good, good. While loop condition, a few has written for loop condition. Good. Okay. So we'll see here. We are going to have a result which is nothing but the initial value has to be initialized to 1. The reason is whatever the value multiplied with it will be initialized multiply along with it. So we are supposed to initialize 1 not with 0 and you can take a range of n plus 1. And inside is a small operation is nothing but you're going to multiply each and every time. And you're going to print it. Print your result at the end. If at all 5 is given, a 5. What happened? What we did? So n value has to be passed, right? Okay. This is a normal one. Guys, try it in a recursive way. The same program, I want to try it in a recursive way. Implement in a recursive way, guys. I guess everyone knows recursion of factorial. It is very simple, right? Instead of looping using loop, try it in a recursion method. Guys, among 180, I could see hardly 20 members are responding. What about others? Are people trying? Okay. Good, Nagaraj, good. Okay. Does not exist. Good. Janvi, good. You're checking for? Less than zero condition is also good. Good, Ragis. Yes, completed one. This one. Okay, good. The same skeleton, only the inner part is going to vary. Come on soon, guys. I didn't give any complex program at all. I given very basic program, which is similar to you people. Okay. Guys, if at all the value 0 is given, what happened? You're writing condition for 1 alone. What about 0? If 0 factorial is also 1, right? 1 factorial is 1. 0 factorial is also 1. So if at all you're writing program for it, just concern about the 0 factorial also, where your test cases might include 0 factorials also. Okay, those are the exception you might be getting there. You should concern about the exception cases also. Okay, Kanchan. Good, Kanchan, good. Srivardhan. Good, Srivardhan, good. Okay, guys, we'll see to it not to waste much time in this program. I guess in your class also yesterday, sir might have discussed about it, and this session in batch 2 also we had discussed. So first we can see to it. Okay. So if you are supposed to write the condition, whenever you are writing factorial program, the one thing you are supposed to concern is the termination point of the particular program, when the particular program is going to terminate. If at all you are not concerned about the termination, what happen in case of recursion, you'll be getting the error called stack overflow. The reason is where recursion always requires stack memory. Okay, so whenever the calculation is done, it always requires stack memory. Whenever you people are not concerned about the termination point, what happened? You will get stack overflow error, which will be one of your test cases. So make sure that whenever you're using it, you people should first concern about the termination point. So until in case of factorial, what we'll do, we'll accept a number. Okay, for assume 5. So what we'll do, we'll be keep on reducing the number, right? Starting from 5, one by one number, we'll be reducing it. So which is nothing but 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 is your termination point, right? So you should consider with a 1. Whenever I reaches 1, I'm supposed to return. I didn't complete if condition yet, guys. I had to complete. I'm supposed to return 1. So 1 factorial is 1. Apart from this, I know that while 0 factorial is also 1. So I can write the condition here. If at all uses 0, then also I should return only 1 as my answer. So I can consider here for 0 factorial as for your 1 as well as for your 1 factorial. Else. Okay, it is not required to put else. Just for your clarification, I'm putting else. Okay, I'm supposed to return n into fact of n. My function name is fact, so let me mention fact of n minus 1. So each and every time the number is taken, and again the function called is made with the n minus 1 value. Okay, I guess you people are clear with how the stack memory works. Do you want me to explain again how the stack memory works, or shall we proceed to next one? Guys, output wise there is no variation at all. You will be getting the same answer with recursion or without recursion. The only thing is once you are using recursion, you need to occupy stack memory to store the data. So at the end, after it reaches 1, where each and every data will be popped out. Popped out, or those who doesn't know the technical term of stack, we can name it as 1. Each and every element will be removed from the topmost element. I give an example. Whenever we are using stack memory, it is like keeping the books one after other. The person who kept the book first will be at the particular book will be at the bottom of it. The value can be taken only at the end of the operation. Clear with it? So this for this factorial we'll be using stack memory. For with recursion, for this we'll never use stack memory, just we'll use a variable memory alone. Local this we'll be using a normal variable data memory will be stored. Here stack memory is required. Clear with it? Guys, are you clear? Do you want me to explain the stack process? Come on, let me know if at all you want me to explain the stack process of it. Clear. Okay, good. Good, good. Okay. Next, we'll see with one more. Just now, Janvi is posting. What is this, Janvi? Is that with recursion? Yeah, good, Janvi. Okay. And the next one, what you're going to see is, let us take a small scenario which you're going to do sum of digits. Sum of digits in non-recursive method. So sum of digit in the sense, if at all the given number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1234, your output should be, your result should be, let me add, okay, what is the addition of it? Addition of it is 3, 3 plus 3, 6, 6 plus 4, 10 should be an answer, which is nothing but resultant of 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. Clear with this one? Sum of digit I'm supposed to do in non-recursive way. Accept a number, try to separate this number one by one at the end, then try to add with the result and print the overall result once we separated all the digits from this number. Try it out. This is all about your non-recursive way, guys. Don't try it in recursion method, non-recursion method. Just be using loop, you can do it. Yes, yes, Raghu. Okay, good. Int of I. Okay, Surya Teja, accepting as a string. You're typecasting. Good, good. You're typecasting and you're adding it. Okay, good. And yeah, you mentioned as the n. Okay, dividing it. Good. Adding it. Good. Good, Riaz. Good. So, Surya Teja, your approach is also good, and Riaz is also good. Ragis, right? Ragis. Okay. Okay. Now, here use split method. Meghna, instead of splitting directly, if you are passing the particular n variable, somehow it's going to iterate as character by character only. It is not required to split again. No need of, you can avoid one loop there. Clear? Directly, if you are passing string, whatever, character by character will be iterated. Good. Kanchan, good. Good, good, guys, good. Okay, who else? Shiva, okay. Good. Shiva Teja, make sure with the syntax, colon, all those things you should be aware of it. Logicals, right? Just syntax wise, just check to it, okay? The colon indentation, just, I guess you people are typing in mobile, it seems. Logicals, right, Shiva Teja? But syntax wise, you should check it.
While typing, I didn't type the syntax, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Good, Nagaraj, good. R equal to R. Good, good, Chaitanya. Pranavi, can you explain your logic, what you mentioned? Pranay, right? Okay. What you mentioned? Sum of natural numbers formula. No, Pranay, here it doesn't mean the sum of natural numbers. Guys, don't consider since the number is a sum of natural numbers. It might be of any number. Whatever the number I give, it should be separated and added. And the result should be printed. Okay, it's not only sum of natural numbers. Since for a convenient I have given like this is the single number. Good, good. Share than sum of digits. Good. Good, guys, good. So we'll see the approach here, okay? There are two types of approach can be done. I could see many people are doing C logics also here and many people are doing which is specific for Python. Here in case of C logic, what I'll do, I'll take a reminder of it and each and every time you're going to add it. In case of Python logic, what you'll do, you'll be accepting as a string where you'll be iterating one by one. Okay, then you'll be adding it. These are the two different logic for this non-recursive method. Okay. Anil. Good. Good. Good, guys. Good. I can see both the approaches. Many were few are sticking. I guess those who learned C and those who came for Python will be writing logic by using C programming almost nearer to C. Though those who learned only Python, they'll be having only the knowledge about Python. So this is a resemblance you can able to find out, guys. Whenever you people are writing, those you can able to find out. Those who have learned only Python, they'll be trying to write the program only by using Python. See, once you learn other programming and you can able when you're doing in Python, you can notice that the fluency of this particular programming language will be here. This is what I can notice. The fluency of C, C++ were inside this. But good approach. Okay, let's see one by one. So we are going to see two approach also. I'll tell you what is the how we people can do it. So now we'll see the approach for the normal method, which is nothing but as you see in C programming, I'm going to see, okay, which is nothing but what I told you. This is a number. Let me take this number, guys. If I am taking this number, some people are considering that it as a single number. Which one? As a natural number, let me take this as a given number. 356 is a given number. So what I'm going to do is, we are going to take a digit by digit, where this separation can be done from the beginning of a number or at the end of a number. Okay, either you can able to separate 3 first from the number, 5 first from the number, 5 then 6 from the number, or this separation can be done at the end of the number. So for logic, if at all I want 6 to be taken, what I can do, I can mention 365. Okay, 365 modulo by 10 is going to give me 6 again, right? So again, if I want to separate 5, what I can do, I can take 35 and I can divide by 10, which is going to give me 5 again. I can able to take 3 modulo by 10, any number which is less than 10 will give you the same number 3. So in this manner, I can take a number consecutively, I can able to perform division operation of it. Initially, I can take a number, I can able to do modulo of it, and I'll get the remainder value. Okay, and I can able to divide a number, consecutive divided number until the particular number equals to 0. Clear? I'll consecutively divide a number until the number equals to 0. Then what I'm going to do is, we are going to take the remainder of it, we are going to do summation of it. So this is the logic we people are going to write here, guys. Just we'll get 3. So we are going to consecutively divide it and find remainder of a number. So we will take initial the particular number, we'll find remainder of it, we'll get 6. Again, we'll divide a number by 10. So since for the next iteration, I want to take a value 5 from it. So I want to make this as 35. So I'll divide it by 10. Again, I'll get 35. Take modulo of it, you'll get 5 from it. You are supposed to add these numbers. So once you add this number, you'll be getting sum of digits, right? So what we can do is, let us declare some variable for result and let the value be 0 initially, and here we are going to divide. Okay, you're going to divide a number until here n not equals to 0, or you can apply a condition n greater than 0. Okay, n not equals to 0 or n greater than 0. Once n value is less than 0, you're going to terminate. This is the condition, you can apply it. Okay, and you can able to separate digit by digit assign the given number modulo by 10, which is nothing but the given number has been accepted here. Okay, and you guys, come on, someone mic is. Who is that? Who is speaking? Can we find out who is he? Just a minute, guys. Guys, make sure your mics are muted. Give me a second, guys.
అసలు ఎందుకు వస్తలేదు? నేను ఎంతసేపు అన్నట్టు ట్రై చేస్తున్నా, అస్సలు వస్తలేదు.
Okay, fine. Okay, so we are going to find we are going to accept a number, pass for this function, and we are going to find first. We'll be finding. We'll be doing modulo of it. I'll store this number in digit. Okay, and later on, what I'll do is I'm supposed to do summation of it, right? So where the summation is done, so I'll have one variable called result, and here we are going to do summation of it. Either this statement can be written in a single line, guys. Okay, here I'm making use of 2 lines. So for your better understanding, since it is a mixed crowd, all departments are there. So I'm making use of 2 separate lines, guys, for your better understanding. If at all you want, you can do in a single line itself. Result is equal to results plus digit. So initial value of result is 0. So along with it, the digit whatever you have separated will be added. Okay. So it will be added for each and every iteration, and for the next iteration, what I should do, I should divide the particular number by 10. So here you are supposed to make integer division. So let me divide by 10 by using integer division. So this process is going to happen again and again. You can notice that what is the process I have mentioned here, we did here. We are taking a number, dividing it until it reaches 0. The next time when I'm dividing 3 divided by 10 is going to give you 0 point something. As the integer value to 0, right? So until your n value reaches 0, it is not equal to 0 or greater than 0, it is going to execute. Once it reaches 0, it is going to terminate it. So this value, along with this result, what happens? That this result will be counted. So 6 will be the initial value, again 5, again 3. So all this value will be added, and you can display the result here. Okay, now let me execute it. So if I give 1, 2, 3, 4, what happened? Where is a mistake we made? Okay, typo error. Just a minute, guys. What we did? Something we did.
Ma'am?
Yes.
2 print statements, why, ma'am?
Yes. Thank you, guys. The same code I have copied here, right? So what happened? The print we didn't remove it. Okay, fine. So this is the one method. The other method, what we told is we're going to do by using as we do in Python. So this method we can able to implement either by using C programming or whatever the programming language you are saying. There we be using only this method. In case of Python, you can accept the data as a string type. You can accept the data as a string type, and here we can do the calculation part. Okay, where the iteration can be done by using in a string, and then you can able to add it. So this is what we are going to see with the next one. So you'll have for I in n. So n we are accepting. So for I in n, we'll have result assigned 0, And here the same iteration, guys. So what happens here is this string will be iterated character by character. Here whatever the input I'm accepting will be of string type. So if at all I'm accepting 1, 2, 3, 4 and this 1, 2, 3, 4 will be treated as a string, you're going to iterate character by character. So you can able to add it by typecasting this integer as an integer. Clear? It is a string type. You can typecast it and then you can print your result. This approach is also accepted. What we did again, sorry guys, the same, since we have copy pasted it, the same issues, nothing else. I given 10. Okay, let me give some other number 2, 3, 4. Okay, these are the two types of approach where you can able to solve the sum of digit in a recursion method. Will you people try it in non-recursion method? Will you people try it in a recursive way? I guess few have posted in a recursive way. I want others to try it in a recursive way, guys. This is a non-recursive way. I didn't use any recursion here. In a general method, I'm trying by using this is a normal approach for all the program. This is specifically only for Python. No need of dividing, no need of performing all those operations. Just accept as a string, iterate it character by character, then typecast as an integer, add to the existing result. Your work will be done. Try it in a recursion method. I guess few are completed. Let me see the code. So you're writing this recursion method, right? N value equal to 0. Okay. Okay. If n value be equal to 0, return 0. Okay. Raghu. So for the last digit, guys, last digit you're applying 0 condition, right? Raghu, why it is required to convert as an integer? You're trying to do digit sum, right? For the digit sum, what happened by default? You're taking integer. This one, what is that? Integer division. It is not required to typecast as an integer again. Already you're doing integer division. So for integer division, why it is required to typecast it? Okay. Pavan, is that recursive method whatever you have sent? Okay, good. Good, guys. Okay, good. I could see people are trying out. Good. But I could see only few responses, guys. What about others? What people are doing? Try it out soon. Okay. Okay, guys. Good. You can go till 0 or you can even break before this guy. Whenever you reach a single digit, you can break before that. Okay, even it is not required to go to 0. For single digit, you can break it out. Good, Bharat, good. Guys, just take this process, whatever you're doing, this process, division and modo, take this process and put in a function, this is a function call again, recursive function. Okay. Shivardhan, good. There's hardly you can take 1 or 2 minutes, not more than that. Just try to complete within it. Okay, guys, we'll see here. I guess maximum people I got response. After this, everyone's quiet. Okay, we can see here, guys. So what is the function called? Continuously, what you're going to do is you're going to continuously divide a number, right? Continuously, you're going to divide a number. So you're going to return for the function call, what you're going to return back. You're going to continuously do modulo of a number, and you're going to call the number with dividing the value. This is what we did, right? We are doing modulo of it. We are doing modulo of it. Along with this modulo result, what I'm going to do? I'm going to call the function again. Okay, each and every time I'm doing modulo of it, I'm going to store it, and again I'm going to call a function by dividing this particular value. The same thing here I'm going to do it. Here first I'll do division of it, and followed by, here I'm going to call the same function sum of digit. Here you're going to make use of integer division. Guys, it is not required to typecast here. Already you're going to do integer division here. So this is your else part, where what you're going to do here. Okay. And what is the termination condition we are supposed to apply? This is the one we are supposed to think to it. So what is the termination condition? Your termination condition, either it might be till reaches 0, or you can go ahead with single digit number. If at all your n value is less than or equals to 9. Guys, I'm writing termination condition, guys. This part is your else part. Whatever, this is nothing but, because I'm writing fragment by fragment, listen carefully. This is a continuous operation what people are going to do. Continuously do modulo of it and divide it, call a function. So either you can, this termination point might be until it reaches 0, or it can be until it reaches a single digit number. So once it reaches single digit number, what you can do, you can able to return the particular number for your summation, right? So you can mention return n as your value. Guys, is this clear? Same code, I didn't write anything big changes in it. Okay. So now let us execute. Sorry, guys. Okay. So is this clear? Guys, either till 0. Yeah, you want me to explain like once? Okay, I'll explain, guys. The same logic, what we are doing here. First, we are dividing the particular, we are doing modulo of it, and you're going to add the value as a resultant, and for each and every time I'm taking a number and dividing by 10. This is what you're doing, right? You're taking remainder of a given number, again you're calling the particular number by dividing by 10. Again, this is all about your first function call or first iteration. So for next iteration, what you're doing is again taking modulo of it and again dividing it. This is for your second iteration, taking modulo, dividing. This is a continuous process we are doing it until the number reaches 0. Okay, so this is a process I'm going to do it by using recursion. I'm going to call this function continuously by doing modulo of it and add the resultant of this value, sum of digit. So if at all you want me to trace it, so what is the process? Let us have a tracing of it. Okay. So let us assume the given number is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Initially, what happened? In your stack memory, a number will be divided. Once you are dividing it, just I'm speaking about this line, guys. Okay. Since you people are asking about tracing, let me explain you how does it works. So initially what happened? The particular number will be divided by modulo by 10. So what happens? It will be getting 4 plus sum of digit. Sum of digit value will be as 1, 2, 3, which is nothing but dividing. Right now your number value is 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you're dividing by 10, it will get 1, 2, 3. Right? This is all about this process. Again, you're going to have your number value. For the next iteration, you will have your number value as, right now the number value passed for a function is 1, 2, 3. So now you will be having, guys, actually whenever you're speaking about stack, make sure that the value whatever you're nesting is about to it. So for the next iteration, what you'll do is, just a minute guys, let me write in a sequential way so that everyone could understood. Okay, first value is 1, 2, 3, 4. When I'm calling this function, what happened? Dividing it will take a remainder value. Modulo will take a remainder value 4 and followed by this value. Again, function call. So again, function call, the last digit is 3. 3 plus sum of digits. Sum of digit, where your sum of digit value is. Again, when I'm doing division of it, I'll get 1, 2. So right now your number value will be just 1, 2. Again, doing sum of digit, you will be getting the answer 2 plus sum of digit of 1. So continuously make sure that you can look at here guys, you're going to continuously divide this number. Okay, initially what happened, once you are dividing it, where 1, 2, 3, 4 will be divided, where 1, 2, 3, 4 divided by 10 will be passed, where 1, 2, 3 divided by 10 will be passed. Okay, here 1, 2 divided by 10 will be passed. So right now your number value will be called with the value 1. So now, okay, whenever it is 1, guys, actually what I did is I'll stop in a single digit. Right now your number value is 1, which is less than 9. So it is going to have the sum of digit of 1 is going to give you resultant 1. Okay, now as I told you, this is a stack memory, right? So for this, the resultant of this is 1. So it will add 2 plus 1. It is 3. Again, you will add the existing value here is 3. So 3 plus 3 will be added 6. So again here 6 plus 4 will be added. Okay, you'll be getting 10. So this 10 will be replaced as your answer. Is that clear guys? It is a stack memory where the process is stacked one after other. At the last value, sum of digit of 1 is going to produce you 1. So this 1 will be substituted here. So the resultant is 3. This is nothing but function call of 1, 2. So this 3 will be substituted here. We'll be getting 6. And this is function call of 1, 2, 3. You'll be getting 6 as your answer. So 6 plus 4, you'll be getting 10 as your result. Is this clear how to perform tracing in case of stack? Shall we move on to next one, guys? Okay. Good. And next one, what is the concept we can take? We can take reversing a number. Can take an example how to perform reverse a number. Try it out for reversing a number, guys. Normally, we'll be having a reversing a string. Write logic for reversing a number. In a normal approach. Non-recursive method. You want any example for it? Very simple, right? So when it is 1023, this number has to be reversed as 3201. Any number you can take. This is one of the example. Try it out. Just find, guys, since I'm asking you to try it, normal method is, from normal method, those who are new for recursion, it will be easy for you people to convert it. That is the reason I'm asking you people to try first normal method, then you can go get for recursive method. Okay. Good, good. Okay, good. Navyasri, good. Good. Like it's good. A simple way, in a single line, huh? Slicing completed. Good. Just I told you to write a logic. Good, good. Okay, Srivardhan, good. Nagaraj, good. Ragis, by default, whenever you are implementing by using recursion, it goes only with a stack memory. Okay. Okay. What else? Where's it in? Good, Suritaja, good, good. Guys, avoid slicing. In case of slicing, a single line, your work will be done. I know it. Python directly slicing, single line, your work will be done. Whatever they are asking, you can use it. Okay, it is not that there is no best approach depending upon the scenario what they are asking. Okay, in some cases they used to ask you to implement by using recursion, implement stack memory. In some cases they used to look at for time complexity. Whenever they are looking for time complexity, just avoid recursion. It's not advisable to use recursion when people are concerned with time complexity. The reason is since it is occupying stack memory, instead of storing in a variable name, if you're occupying a stack memory, what happened? Large amount of space is going to be occupied. So again, you'll be having a space complexity issue there. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, stack overflow error you'll be getting. Stack overflow error in the sense, when you are not terminating the iteration, you'll get this one. Okay, good, good. Good, guys, good. Okay, fine. Okay, shall we see here? Even if we have. What is there? Here you're asking why should this recursion require, right? So this recursion, you can notice that people might have came across this sorting algorithm, all those things. In case of merge sort, all those things, and apart from this, in case of tree traversal, data structure, if at all you learned about tree traversal, in order, pre-order, there is no way that you should use only by using recursion, right? There is not possible to go without recursion. So that is the reason recursion is important. Wherever it is not possible to use looping, it causes many issues in the sense there you can go with recursion function. Whenever there is no possibility to use for loop in the sense, I can go ahead with recursion. Some of the example are merge sort, tree traversal, all those things can be done only by using recursion. Okay, clear, Muzammal? That's the reason this particular, even though time complexity is there, we are seeing about this recursion. Okay, shall we see here? The same logic, guys. So we are going to stick on to the same logic, but small difference is going to be there. So if at all we are taking this number, the same process, guys, for this one. Let me paste here. Previously we did about sum of digits. We are going to do sum. Right now we are supposed to reverse it. Reverse in the sense I should take this 6 should place here, 5 after to it, and 3 after to it. So previously for sum of digit, how we are traversing from the last, we are taking 1 by 1 digit, right? Instead of adding this digit, what we are going to do is we are going to store in a variable name by multiplying with it. First, I'll take 6. I'll multiply 6 with 10. So 6 will be, so I'll take 6. I'll place 6 as such. And next again, for the next iteration, we'll take 5. Where this 5 has to be added. Guys, I'm speaking about this one now. Okay. For the next iteration, you'll take 5. Where this 5 is going to be added. This 5 is going to be added, which is nothing but next to 6, which is nothing but 10th position of a value, right? So in case of 10th place, I'll multiply here. Okay, already this result value will have result. So result plus 5 in, sorry guys, result into 10. Already there will be a result, right? Result contains 10s, right? Sorry, 6. So along with the existing value, you're supposed to multiply 10, then add 5, it will become a 65. Is that clear? The same operation. First I'll take 6, then I'll take 5. Where this 5 should be added in order to form 65, it should be added in the 10th place. So I'll be adding like this, right? So again, what I'll do is, right now your result value is 65. The previous result value, whatever stored is 65. Okay, so 65 into 10 plus the next digit, what will be getting? We'll be getting 3, right? So 3. So along with 65, where a tens place will be replaced with 3. This is how it works. Clear? So initially you can assume that your result is 0. So result into 10. That is the first step. So you can make your initial value of result is 0, which makes your operation perfect. Is that clear? The same process consecutively you're going to divide and you're going to do modulo of it. Instead of adding it, we are going to multiply the value along with the result. Previously, we added directly. Instead of it, we are going to multiply it. This is a variation, guys. So now we'll go ahead with the logic. Now let me copy paste the outer statement of it and we can go ahead further. This is nothing but reverse, right? Reverse the number. Okay. Now let me remove this condition. Right now, I'll just copy paste this, guys. Instead of wasting time, just we can copy paste it and we can modify this logic alone. Okay. Here, yeah, result value is initialized until it gets 0. The same process. Instead of this process alone, what you're going to do is you're going to do multiplication with 10. So if you are giving 1, 2, 3, the value is reversed. And I've seen few person has written in this way, where accepting a number and just print colon -1. So sorry guys, this should be a string type. Just a minute, kernel is getting executed. We'll wait for a few more seconds, guys. It is getting late. Better let me restart the kernel once. Okay. So this is all about string type, guys. You can typecast it and can use it, but this is not advisable. Okay, just I told you people to write it. This is in case of Python. By using slicing, you can able to reverse a string. Reverse a string and you can typecast it. I didn't typecast here, you can typecast it as an integer. Is this clear? Okay, we are seeing about the non-recursive way, guys. Can you people try it for the recursive method? Come on soon. Reversing a number by using recursive method. I guess everyone knows how to convert it. Come on, try it out. Come on, try it soon. Okay, reversed. For guys, don't use any predefined methods. I want you people to write logic. Don't use any predefined methods. Write the logic by your own. I know that using predefined method is very easy. Pranit, specifically for you. Okay. Don't use predefined method. Predefined method is very easy. We can use all those things in your computer exam. Just I want you to know how this logic is done. First, we should know the logic of it. Right in a recursive method. Okay. Okay, good. Meghna, we are using list you did. Okay. Meghna, why is this list? We are using list here. You can do as a normal method itself. Dutika. Long back I'm seeing your name, huh? Okay, good. Good, Dutika, good. Logic is right, good. Good, come on, others. Okay, Surya Teja. Okay, number 10 divided by 10. Surya Teja, where is this? Why is this comma separator return multiple values? Okay, first parameter is the n value and next is result value. Good. Sorry, guys. Good. Okay. Good, good. Shall we see here, guys? Okay, shall we? Bharat, you're asking about what is the advantage of recursion, right? So, for example, for these program, it is very simple. If at all you're looking at it, it is very simple, right? When you're looking at the complex program, I guess you people have came across this. If at all you people learn about data structure, the complete about tree concept and all about traversal of a tree. You'll be having programs only based on recursion. The reason is a same process has to be repeated again and again. You'll never have any definite termination. So what happened there is you can able to find out that your code complexity will be high. It will not be ending in a finite number of steps, as well as looking at the code will be very complex. So in order to avoid the complexity of a code, even though we get the Stack Overflow issue, we'll be going for this recursion concept. Okay, in order to make this code understandable, if you are writing the particular, just you can open your merge sort program or tree traversal program. Okay, if at all you're having in your device, you can put another one tab. I can search to it. Those programs, they will be advisable to write only in case of recursion. So if at all you're writing by using normal loop, what happened will not be easy for us to understand. It will be very complex. So in order to avoid the particular complexity and make your program understandable, we'll be making use of recursion. Apart from this, wherever the simple programs, you can write by using normal way. Okay. Good, Kanjan, good. Ragi's your code is less than 10 year return. Okay. Good, good, Ragis. Okay, shall we see here? Are you people still trying? Shall we discuss here? Guys, are you still trying? Shall we discuss? Just give me confirmation so that we can able, if you really want me to wait, I'll wait, or can discuss in the sense we can discuss here. Okay, we can discuss here. Okay. So let me have my function name def followed by reverse digit. This is my function name where you're going to accept input value. So we'll have a function call here. Function call, before to that we can accept a n value. Okay, now we'll go ahead further. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse the number right here. So we'll write if condition here. If what is the termination point until my number greater than 0, I can able to do it, right? So let me write a condition number greater than 0 is my termination point. So I'm writing condition directly. If at all number is greater than 0, I'm going to do some operation. So what you're going to do is let me have one variable called reverse, and this reverse, what I can do is I can initialize here. I initialize my reverse value is initially 0. There is some indentation issue. Let me resolve it. And let me declare this variable as a global variable. Global of all. Okay. Now, what you're going to do is for reversing, we are seeing the logic. We are going to multiply the value with 10 each and every time. And each and every time, I'm going to send the particular number by modulo by 10. So inside this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this function called reverse digit here. So I can mention reverse digit. So what you're supposed to send? Integer division of it. So let me mention integer division of it. Guys, is this clear? Do you have any doubt on it? A very simple program, guys. If at all my n value is greater than 0, perform this operation. Okay. And For reversing a digit, you're supposed to pass the given number integer division of 10. What happened? I didn't print it, right? I'm supposed to print my reverse. After a function call, we didn't print it. So that is the reason we didn't get any value. Let me print it here. Guys, got this logic? The same logic, guys. Nothing, I didn't change it. What is the use of global? Global variable, guys, which can be accessed throughout the program. Normally, in case of C program, might have came across global variable, right? The same way, I'm declaring reverse as a global, which can be accessed either inside a function or outside a function. I'm making a variable called reverse as global. Is this clear? Shall we move on next one? Okay, good. And next one, we can try with this generation of Fibonacci series in a non-recursive way. We are going to try generation of Fibonacci series by using non-recursive way and recursive way. Let me copy this one so that it will be easy to edit it. I will type it. Guys, you can try with recursive this one, Fibonacci series without recursion. Then we can go ahead with recursion. I guess everyone knows about Fibonacci series. You want me to explain? Come on. The Fibonacci series starts with, the first value starts with 0, followed by 1. Okay, 0, 1, 0 plus 1 gives you 1, 1 plus 1, adjacent value gives you 2, 2 plus 1, 3, so 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 2 gives you 5, 5 plus 3, 8, okay, 8 plus 5, 13, and it goes on like this. Okay, now we are going to see how to generate this Fibonacci series in non-recursive. Guys, if at all you find something is difficult, you didn't understand, you can let me know, guys. Don't be quiet. If at all you're facing some difficulties, let me know immediately. explain. Which one, Nagaraj, you want to explain me? This logic you want to explain me? Just initialize two number 1 and number 1 as 0 and number 2. Just I'll tell you the logic behind it. Just try to do it. Okay. You're going to take two number 1 and number 2. Okay. Your first number, I'm going to take it as 0 and next number, you're going to take it as 1. You're going to add this number 1 and number 2. Okay, you're going to add these two number 1 and number 2, which is going to give you some result. Here, if at all you're adding these two number, what happen? You'll be getting an answer called 1 again. 0 and 1 is going to add and produce the result 1. And for the next iteration, add this result. Add this result along with the number 2. You'll be getting result here. Add this result along with number 2. You'll be getting 1 plus 1. You'll be getting, sorry ma, yeah, 0 plus 1. You'll be getting 1. That is your next one result here. Okay, number 1 is 1. So number 1 is assumed as 0 and number 2 is assumed as 1. Add these two number, you'll be getting value 0 plus 1. You'll be getting as 1. That is a result again 1. So continue this process. Again, take these two number as number 1 and number 2. Then do 1 plus 1, which will produce the next result as 2. Again, take these two numbers. Just you're supposed to swap it, guys. For each and every iteration, you're supposed to swap it. So what happened? 1 plus 2 is going to produce you 3 again. So 2 plus 3 is going to produce you again 5. So you're supposed to swap the process. Initial value is supposed to consider, add the store it in a result. And for the next iteration, make this number as number 1 and make this result as number 2. Continue the process. Okay. Okay, fine. Good. Raghi is good. Your code is good. Certain for exception conditions too. Whenever your n value is 1, just try it out. N Fibonacci series you're supposed to display. Okay. Others? Egna. Okay, accepting two numbers. Good, Megna. Good. What you have mentioned? N minus. Okay, N minus 1. Just a minute. So you're having counter as n. Okay, good. Good, Magna. Okay. Guys, if people are writing separate condition if for 0, right? So you can put that particular condition in a for loop. By default, if at all your for loop starts with 0, if your n value is given as 0, it's not going to execute. Okay, you can give else part of it and you can able to write such in this way. No need of writing if condition separately for zeros. If at all you're writing, that's okay, but you can optimize the code. Okay, good. Good, guys. Good. Good to see you people. According good. Guys, I want everyone to try it. I could see only few people are trying out and others were quiet. I didn't give much complex program at all. It is very simple. Shall we try it out here? Come on. Respond me. Are you people doing? Is this correct? Okay, yes. Razi, okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Directly you can give return instead of print. Recursive method only I'm seeing to it. Instead of giving print, let me check above n value equals to 1 return. The return condition for the 1 and n value 2. So why do you write condition for n value 2? So by avoiding it, you can write for 0 and 1. That's sufficient. Just try to modify if condition alone. Okay. Okay, guys, we'll see here logic of it. So as I told you that we are going to initialize two variables, right? So either you can start with 0 and 1. Either you can start with 0 and 1, or I can initialize two variable a with value -1, and I can initialize one more variable b as 1. The reason is from the base, from the first value I'm going to generate. I'm not going to initialize anything. from the first value we are going to generate it. That is, listen carefully guys, the concept whatever you know only, I didn't write anything different. Instead of assuming it, I'm going to generate from the first value, which is nothing. I'm going to generate from the value 0. So I've assigned my A value as -1 and B value as 1. Now we can accept your N value. I didn't use any function. Directly I'm going to write here guys. Just listen carefully. Int followed by input. Okay. Let us assume we're going to enter number. And after this, I'm going to start my iteration for I in range of N. And here, what is the calculation I told you? You're going to print your result, addition of first two numbers, right? So what happened? Addition of 1 and -1 is going to generate you 0. I'm going to generate the first number and followed by, I'm going to have A assigned B, and after this B assigned C. As I say, could you remember this one, where the result should be reinitialized as your next iteration value, which is nothing but as your B value. So what I do is I'll take this B as A for the next iteration, which is nothing but B as number 1, number 2 as a number 1 for next iteration, and this result as number 2 for next iteration. This is what I did. And after to that, directly you can print your result, not see here, directly here result. Okay. We can print your result. Okay, and you can follow by ends with space. Guys, is this clear? A very basic example. If at all you people feel that if it is 0, okay, you can print 0 as your answer. If N value was given as 0, you can print 0 as your answer. I guess many were checking for 0 condition. So else, why is this else working? This else should not work. This else for loop should not work. Okay, we'll remove this one, guys. Just a minute. Fine. Guys, is this clear? Guys, the code what you wrote, the same thing. I didn't use any different logic behind it. Come on, respond me. Is that clear? Do you have any doubt, guys? The logic what we are generated all the numbers starting from 0. I didn't assume it. Just assigned the made some initial value. Okay, fine. Just now I could see your messages are popping up. I guess some latency difference is there. Okay, fine. Will you people try the same method by using recursive approach, guys? Same method by using recursive approach. Yeah, for recursion. Generate this number by using recursion.
Ma'am,
Yes?
ma'am,
Yes.
why you written double time, ma'am? Int of typecasted double time. N equals to
Where?
here. N equals to
Some typo error there. Typo error. I didn't notice it. Thank you. I didn't notice it. It does not require typo error. Okay. Okay, good. Like if the people are doing. The logic varies bit apart from the other one, guys. Just try it out. Surya Teja, good. Okay. Entering positive number. Okay, good. Guys, here you people are supposed to consider check separate condition for 0 and 1. Yeah, Surya Teja, I have mentioned that 5 numbers. First 5 values. You can notice that. How many values are there? First 5 Fibonacci series. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I'm speaking about Fibonacci series, it has certain numbers, right? I want to print first 5 numbers or first 2 numbers. So if I give 3, it will give you first 3 numbers alone. The generation, how we are going to do it. Okay, good. Come on, try it out. Try to complete soon. Let's see Fibonacci series. You're passing N, N2, N3. Why is it Ritika, these many values you're passing as parameter for a function? Okay, good, good. Done? Or else shall we discuss here? Okay, Nagaraju. Good, Nagaraju, good. What you did, you're accepting, you're assuming values of it. First 3 values are assuming, right? So if the value is given as 2, what you'll do? You're assuming 3 values. Okay. Shall we see here, guys? Okay, look at the code here and we'll explain about the stack, how it is executing. Okay, so it'll be easy for people to understand. So you can look at here. I could guess. I can write a function. Okay, by using function, let our function be Fibino or Fibo. Okay, whatever the function we want, I can declare it. I'm going to ask him accept the n value. So let us assume you're going to accept n value number assign. You're going to accept int value input. So we're going to accept input value, and here let me do one thing. I'm going to take a range of value. Here I'm going to, if at all are given as 5, I'll take a range of value starting from 0 to a given number. So I'll pass number 1 by 1 and I'm going to find Fibonacci series of it. I'm going to call my function Fibo. So I'm going to pass I value as my parameter. Listen carefully, a very simple guys. I'm going to accept number and I'm going to take a number 1 by 1 and I'm going to find Fibonacci of it. So here I'm going to apply a condition. So initially we should know termination condition. If at all my n value is 0, it will display only 0, right? So my return value will be 0. Else, if at all my n value is 1, what could I return? I'll return 1 as my answer. So for 0, 1, 1, I'll return a condition else. If this condition, I'm supposed to mention elif, guys. So we're going to stack one more condition, right? So let me write elif. Else, if this condition is false, if this the previous one is false, I can call the function fib of return fibo of n minus 1 plus n minus 2. This is the logic we'll be writing. I'll explain you by using stack memory. Don't worry about it, how it is functioning. Can anyone explain how the stack memory works? So far I told you people how to trace it, right? Will anyone try? What is the error? It is showing that. Okay. N equals to 1 instead of colon I given comma. Range of n. They have missed. Sorry guys, small typo error. Now since I was typing faster, a small typo error is there. So 5 input, first 5 numbers has been generated. We'll see to it how this number is generated. Can anyone try it out? How this function is working? Come on. Tracing, guys. Tracing, who is going to try it out? Guys, will you try it out or shall we discuss here? Come on, soon. We are running out of time. Okay, Surya Teja has did. By using tree structure, did. Good, good. Good, Surya Teja, good. Guys, I guess you people can able to find out the tree tracing. Whatever you posted, I'll show you guys. This tree trace, just a minute. So tree tracing can be done like this. So previously we are done by using stack summary. This is nothing but tracing can be done like this tree structure also. If at all n value is given as 5, so fib of 4, fib of 3. Those are we are calling n minus 1 and n minus 2. Okay, fib of 4 and fib of 3. So again n minus 1, n minus 2, fib of 3, fib of 2. Here again, when this value will be made as fib of 2, fib of 1. Such a way it will be calculated in a tree structure, guys. You can make use of this tree also for tracing. The method is you can use Stack Overflow method. What I told you for this one. So normal stack method. We have seen stack tracing here, right? Could you able to get this one? This one we have seen where it is. We written somewhere. Okay, here tracing. Like this, you can trace it, guys. You can put a stack memory. You can trace either like this, or you can trace here by using this tree approach also. Is this clear, guys? Come on. Answer me. You want to trace in the normal stack method also? If at all required, just let me know. Guys, respond something. Almost 150 members are there. No one is responding. Clear, ma'am. Okay, okay, good, good. You want normal tracing. Okay. Okay, normal tracing, we'll try it out. So what is Fibonacci of 0? So initially, you're going to accept 0 till n. This is a normal tracing. We can see it, guys. Okay, those are looking for normal tracing. So this loop is going to execute 0 to n value. Till n value, you are going to go. So we know that where if at all f of 0, whenever your function is of f of 0, what is the value it will be written? A function of 0 will be given with the value 0, right? N of 0. So whenever your function is called with f of 1, when your n value is 1, it will throw you output as 1. It will throw you output as 1. Yeah, stack tracing we'll see it. Okay, just I'm giving clarification. If at all your f value is 0, what happened? If at all your f value is 1, what happened? Just I've given a clarification of it. Now we'll start tracing of it. Okay, guys. You see here, whenever we have taken a range from 0 to n, right? So 0 to n in the sense, first I'll pass 0. So we'll have our stack memory here. Whenever my value is 0, whenever my value is 0, 0 will be written. Whenever my value is 1, it will return 1. For the first two value, it will return. So I'm going to take from 0 to n, right? So for the first two values, my value is going to be written. So let me, these two values is going to be written. And after this, whenever you're going to have a function, whenever you're going to call this Fibonacci series with a value 2, Fibo of 2. Whenever you're going to call a function like this, Fibo of 2, what happened? This two condition will not be satisfied. Now this condition will be satisfied. That is nothing but Fibo of n minus 1 plus a function called Fibo of n minus 2. Okay. Now what could be the result of it? Fibo of n minus 1. Right now n value is 2. So guys, you want, let me write it here, guys. Okay. Fibo of 2 minus 1 is going to give you 1 again, plus Fibo of 2 minus 2 is going to give you 0 again. So we people know that what is the output of it? Fibo of 1 is nothing but already we know that that's 1, and Fibo of 0 is 0 again, which is going to produce you 1 again. So this is the next value will be stored in your stack. So first two value is 0, 1, and the next value stored will be this is the value. And next is if I pass, if your n value reaches 3, when your n value reaches 3, what I'll mention the same expression. Just for your clarification, let me repeat this expression here. Then we can go ahead with the substitution, guys. So now what happened? Fibo of 3 minus 2. So Fibo of 3 minus 1 is going to give you 2. Okay, 3, n value is 3. So 3 minus 1 is going to give you 2 plus Fibo of, okay, 3 minus 2 is going to produce you 1 again. So you will be getting answer here. What is Fibo of 2? What is Fibo of 2, ma? What is the result we got? That is nothing but 1, right? So 1 plus, and here what is Fibo of 1? Fibo of 1 is 1 again. So we'll be getting 2 as the answer. Guys, then and there I'm substituting. Actually, in case of stacking, it will come one above other. If at all, I'm having Fibo of 4. Just for one more step, we can do it, guys. Okay. Fibo of 4. What happened? The same step is going to be repeated. Here, what I'll get? Fibo of n minus 1. Right now, n value is 4. N minus 1 is 3 plus Fibo of 4 minus 2. That is nothing but 2. So what is the result of Fibo of 3? Fibo of result value is 2. Fibo of 3 value is 2 and Fibo of 2 value is 1. Isn't it? 3 value is 2 and 2 value is 1. So we'll be getting answer 3 again. So you can notice that we are getting the series 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. No, Raju, this is nothing but function call. This is separate function and this is separate function. You're supposed to substitute the resultant of it. You can't able to mention without in the same function. That's not possible. You're supposed to write only in this way. This is the normal stack tracing. Guys, is this clear? Do you have any doubt on it? Okay, good, good, good. Guys, it is very simple. Don't afraid about recursion. The only thing is you should know how to trace it. If at all you are clear with tracing, it's a very simple concept. Okay, good. Okay, guys, I guess everyone is clear with the concept of recursion. You can try it with other programs also. Such a way, I have given GCD. I forgot. Yesterday, I have given you GCD. People forgot. By tomorrow, we'll see to it, guys. Okay. GCD can try with the method of recursion and non-recursive way. Once you're trying with a non-recursive way, it is easy for you people to convert as a recursive method. That is the reason we are seeing with two methods. Okay, guys. Thank you.